Hey everyone, today is June 5th of 2025 and Nintendo Switch 2 just released. Now I went and picked up my console bundled with Mario Kart World at midnight last night at Best Buy. I spent most of the morning playing it as I didn't have too much else going on today, and I definitely have some thoughts on this. Now I know there's a lot of discourse leading up to the console launch and the game launch wondering, is this really gonna be worth $80? And while I can't definitively answer that for you, what I can tell you is what I think of the game and ultimately my opinion on this. So nothing that I'm gonna state here is fact, this is strictly my opinion. If you disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. This video is just meant to inform those of you that maybe haven't played the game yet or are wondering how others feel about it. That's what this video is intended to be. Just fun, nothing serious. Grab a snack, grab a drink, sit back and relax. Now let's get into Mario Kart World and what I think of it. Now first and foremost, since there's so many Mario Kart games, so many people have different experiences when they started with the Mario Kart series, and ultimately we all pretty much know how the game's gonna play. I'm not gonna touch on any of that. I'm mostly just gonna talk about the new modes, what I think of it, the amount of content that's here, and also point out some things that I'm a little bit flabbergasted that they're the way that they are in this game, because usually Nintendo has a slightly higher level of polish, and this is lacking in a few areas, and they're things that are more pet peeves for me than actual deal breakers. But first and foremost, you have your Grand Prix mode with a bunch of cups. They each consist of 4 tracks each. These are really fun, and all of the courses that are here are a bit of a mix because you actually drive from track to track, and that is part of your races. So this is unique and different. You can fly, you'll be on a jet ski sometimes, or I guess your cart technically turns into a hovercraft or whatever you want to call it. You can ride on the walls. There's a lot of different mobility here. The items, and there's a lot of them, are your standard fare. There are some new ones like the gold shell, the magic orb to summon Kamek, and things like that. There's an in-game manual. It teaches you what all of these items are. I'm not going to go too much into them. And I played this diving right into the 150cc, like right into the deep end. And this is a challenging Mario Kart game. It's up there with Mario Kart Wii, which I know is pretty much synonymous for its brutal level of difficulty. There were times, and you're going to see it in the gameplay as I'm talking about the game, like I got throttled by items. Like boom, 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 just item, 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 and knocks me back a whole bunch of spots. And this is 24 players, so you can dip way back. There's a lot more chaos because there's more items. It's really hard to counter getting hit with a blue shell or a red shell when you're in first, because whenever I have an appropriate item, I always get hit with a lightning bolt or something takes it away, a ghost will come steal it. There's so much going on here, and it introduces a very high level of challenge at the 150cc. Now I was able to beat all of the cups and get first place on my first try, but in terms of getting first in each race and getting the 3 stars, I wasn't able to do that on any of the cups. So for you completionists out there that want to get 3 stars on everything, unless you're an absolute Mario Kart master, you're probably going to have to replay these time and time again to eventually get lucky enough to not get throttled 50 feet from the finish line, which happens to me all the time. All the time. I got 2 stars on everything because I'd get second at least one race because I'd get hit in the home stretch. But Grand Prix mode's pretty good. There is an unlockable cup that will unlock after you complete the starter cups. I'm not going to spoil what this is or the reveal of Rainbow Road at all. I have my thoughts on it. I thought it was okay. I'm curious to see what some of you think. If you played this, what'd you think of the finale? Don't spoil anything, just if you liked it or if you didn't like it. Let me know in the comments below. Then you also have your standard Mario Kart modes. There's time trials, there's a versus race, there's battle mode, all that stuff. But 2 things that are new to Mario Kart World is a knockout tour, which has its own set of cups, and this is basically like a series of sprints. and every sprint counts as a lap. So there was 6 in the first one, and it will eliminate the bottom players until eventually when you're on the last one and you're in the top 4, you have to get first. Otherwise, you lose. Simple as that. No do-overs. So this could be really punishing because from my experience with it, I was in first like the entire time. Then when we got to the top 4, I got drilled with items, slipped me into third, and that's where I finished. So this mode is definitely for those of you that like a challenge, even more so than the Grand Prix mode. All of these modes I've mentioned so far, I really like. And then the new edition that is quite large, and I think in Nintendo's head was the thing that they felt like really justified this being $80, is the free roam mode. And you can unlock a ton of stickers, which are cosmetics that kind of unlock via like achievement type requirements, I guess. I don't really care too much about these. Yeah, I apply a sticker to my vehicle, but I don't actively care that much about them. In the free roam mode, sure, you have the whole world, it's open, you can drive around, but you cannot open the map while you are in this mode. All you have is the mini map in the corner, and that's it. So if you want to fast travel to a new area, you have to fully back out to the menu and load back in. This also makes it really hard to keep track of which areas you have complete and which ones you don't, which characters do you have the unlockable outfits for and which ones you don't, because this is, again, the main way you're going to unlock the outfits, because you unlock outfits by feeding the food that's found throughout the world to those characters to get an outfit. Now, the characters have different amounts of outfits. Some don't have any, some might have 1 or 2, others might have up to 10. It really depends. It's really hard to keep track of which characters' outfits you have, which food you ate with each one. None of this is tracked well, and not being able to call up the map and look just makes this brutally slow to figure out and to manage. To go along with the outfit complaint, the character select screen is one of the worst I have ever seen in a game with a huge roster of characters like this. There are 50 playable characters. Some you'll unlock through completing the cups or other requirements, but the outfits are treated like separate characters. So for Mario, you have a whole bunch of outfits. You gotta scroll through them. You can't just pick Mario, then pick your outfit. They really need to condense this because it's cumbersome, clunky, and just stupid. I hate this character select screen. I know that sounds like a small complaint, but I can't emphasize enough how terrible this is. And I know a lot of us called it out in the previews before the game even released, but I want to emphasize that now that I've had my hands on this, I hate it even more than I did just looking at it. I am genuinely having fun with the free roam mode. It feels empty because you're just driving around an empty world, but there are P blocks, which are like missions. Completing these will unlock you a sticker. There are coin blocks on the ground that are usually hidden. You just drive over them. Again, unlock you a sticker. There were hidden nabbits that I found that I don't know what these do, but you gotta catch them by bumping into them. There's peach coins that you can collect, which again unlock you stickers. I don't know if there's a secret behind these things, but that is pretty much all there was to do in the free roam mode, is explore around and collect these things or complete the missions. Now, the P-Switch missions are pretty interesting, and they vary from easy to really hard, and they require you to master the different types of mobility in this game. The wall riding and the flying and all these ways to boost. So they're a good way to improve your skills, and I appreciate that about it, but I just don't know that this free roam mode is something I'm going to spend too much more time in, because the fast travel, having to back out, makes it feel clunky and slow. It's hard to keep track of where I've been and what I need to do. It just feels a little bit undercooked, and I think this is the part of the game that they probably puffed their chest at the most. that feels the most undercooked out of all of the new modes and the new features and everything that they added into this. Now, that kind of brings me to my conclusion here, as I've given you basically the good and the bad. Is this really worth 80 bucks? Well, technically I paid 50 because I bought the bundle. So the console was $450 and the game was 50. I didn't pay 80. It's worth 50 for sure. Is it worth 80 right now? I don't think so, honestly, because it's lacking in a lot of areas, and I think the longevity of this game is going to be pretty short for most of us. If you have Mario Kart friends that you love to play with, you're going to get far more time out of this than I will, because I mainly play these types of games single player. I might dabble a little bit in the free roam or maybe the versus with some friends, but for the most part, if you're playing this just by yourself and that's how you want to enjoy it, you're going to have some fun with it, but it's not going to be for as long as you should expect for an $80 game. Now, over time, will they add content to it? I certainly hope so. For one, there's a glaring omission with the Kongs in this. Donkey Kong is the only playable Kong in the game. It's the new redesigned version of Donkey Kong, and he only has one alternate outfit. There are other characters that have far more than that are less popular than he is, like Toadette, Baby Daisy, Baby Rosalina. So I think the main thing they're missing is Kongs, and I think I understand why. A friend of mine pointed this out. We're, a month or so away from Donkey Kong Bonanza. It is highly likely that they're going to drop an update that's going to add more outfits for Donkey Kong, maybe Diddy Kong, hopefully Funky Kong, because Diddy and Funky missing are pretty glaring omissions, and then Donkey being a main character only having one alternate outfit, again, feels like a pretty egregious omission. So that's pretty much all of my thoughts on Mario Kart World. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I played a lot of it today. Yeah, I'm gonna play more of it, but I just don't think this is worth $80. And I think if Nintendo is setting the standard for how much content we can expect for an $80 purchase, this is disappointing for sure. Yeah, there's fun to be had, but at what cost? At what cost? $80 is the cost. So that's all I've really got on Mario Kart World right now. Hopefully we're going to see continued improvements, not just with the things I mentioned, but maybe little areas that other people discover that need a bit more polish. Hopefully they plan on adding more content in as well over time and not going into paid DLC, because this being 80, like, we deserve an entire year of free content at minimum for this game. Hopefully that's the case, and eventually it will warrant that $80 price point, but right now I don't really think it does, you guys. But if you've played this and you feel differently, let me know. Do you think this is worth 80? I'd love to hear what you guys thought of the game, the console. Are you having fun with it? Do you feel like it's worth your money? Let me know down below. As always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.